All right, so here we are now in video number 2 of Moonlight Sonata. We've learned the A section, and now we're going to move on to the B section. It's fairly short, but in this section, the left hand has taken over with the chords. So let's just go ahead and check out where we finished here with an E minor chord at the end of the A section. So we've just got this E minor triad in the left hand. You'll notice the top note is B. My top note continues to be B in this next chord. It's going to be B with A and D sharp. So we're in the harmonic minor of the E minor scale, and that makes the D sharp on the bottom. And so we're going to hold this for 4 measures, and then we're going to go back to E minor for 2 measures. Now this is a fairly big shift here. We're going to be moving to A minor, but we're going to have the A on the top instead of on the bottom. So A minor is usually ACE on the bottom, ACE with A on the bottom, but we're going to put the A on the top. And we're going to play this for 1, 2 measures. And then we're going to keep the same, no, we're not going to keep anything the same. We're going to shift up. We're going to keep the outside edges the same. We're just going to move up 1 note and then place our 2 instead of our 3 in the middle here. So this is a G major triad, G, B, D. And we're going to hold that for 2 measures. And then we're going to keep the D on the bottom. We're going to put F sharp and C. This is a D7 chord. I'm not sure if we've learned about the 7s yet, but the C makes it a 7. And then we have another one. And then we're going to go back here to G major, this time in root position. And we're going to play that for 4 bars, taking us into the C section. So the right hand is going to start doing its theme here. It's going to hold for 9, and then we're going to have 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3. Now we're on to C, and hold for 2 bars. B, hold for 2 bars. A, D, G. So this entire thing happens in the G pentascale position. And then let's go ahead and play this together with the left hand. So the first measure here is a little bit challenging because we have 1, 2, 3, and. So this last right hand note is playing on the second half of the 3rd beat. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then we'll play B again. So all of this is the note B. Fortunately, we don't have to change notes. We just have to think about the rhythm. So starting down here, 1, 2, 3, and. So we can play all of that together. And then on the next page, we're going to have a E minor triad with B. Then we're going to have a C with an A minor triad. Everybody shifts up and we switch to 2 in the left. We're going to play B in the right. And we'll play 2 on A, and then we have our 5 up here on D, and then we come back in to G. So I did the same thing that we did in the first section, and that is I played the entire measure. Every time we have a new left hand chord or a change in the right hand, I played a solid chord of all of the notes that are playing in the left hand along with whatever's playing in the right hand. So here we have another change, and then these are the same, and then we have a change, and then you could play this if you wanted to, and then we're back in here to the G in the right and the G chord. So from here I played B with all 3 of those notes, and then I went to the next page and I played all of the 3 of these notes with the B. Then I go to C and I check my left hand. So there's a jump down there. That might be tricky. We'll practice that. Then we're going to move up 1. And we're going to play our A, and we're going to reach. And then there's that D in there, and then we'll play the G on the right and a G chord on the left. So I recommend practicing it this way until you understand the changes. Then we can start to play it while we count and keep our beat steady. So here we'll have, starting at the beginning of this measure, I've drawn a line through here, but it was really just so that we could see a good way to end the A section. So we'll start right here. We're going to count 1, 2, 3, and B. So we'll start with both. 1, 2, 3, and B. 2, 3, tie, and tie again. So the right hand just keeps holding. Now we play 2, 3, and now we're into that E minor for 2 measures. Now we're going to go to C and change left hand. So that is a quick change. We have to start thinking about that back here. We have to think about the left hand changing to an to a C. So let's go back and place our third finger here on B, and we're going to start at the top of this page. We have E minor and E minor, and then we're reaching down, and that stays the same, and now we're moving up one, and then we're staying with D, and then F sharp, C, and then right hand changes. Now we end relaxing here on G major. So let's go through and do just the left hand in a broken pattern. So this, I'll start with the E minor and just practice the left. It doesn't change at all here. It stays on this same chord, but then when we go to this one, this E minor, it's only for 2 bars. Then we open down and only for 2 bars. Then we move up 1 note and change to a 2 on G. That's for 2 bars. Now we change again and have C on the top for the first time, and then we move into this G major. And that's going to happen 4 times, right into the C section. So you probably will practice just this left hand by itself, as it has a lot of changes, and then the right hand is holding through all the notes. The only thing that you might find tricky is the timing on these right hand sections. So it's going to go like this: 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So I just did those 2 measures. Now I'm going to do this one and this one. It's the same thing. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So you might practice tapping that, and it's going to come back again. In the C section, which we're going to learn right now, you're going to see that same rhythm happening again. All right, so let's go into the C section. We're going to do the same approach. So I'm just going to erase this extra little line here, and we're going to start off by playing the left-hand chords in solid form. So we're going to grab all 3 notes here for E minor. We just finished with that. Now here's a star reminding me to think about this F, and I remember that Fs are sharp. And you can see I still have gems on here from when we were doing our scales. So this is going to now play for 4 bars. Then we're back to G major. I think I called that E minor. It's G major. And then we have this F sharp on the bottom for 4 bars, back to G major again. Now we're going to move our 4 down to the F sharp, and it's going to be skip and neighbor. So this only happens for 1 measure, and then we change again, and then we change again. And luckily we get to stay here for 2 bars on this chord here, and then we're into E minor for these 2, and we move up to F major for these 2, and then we're going to go back to that sharp, and that's for 2 bars, and then we'll finish on E minor for 3 bars. So there's lots of changing going on here in the left hand. So play it solid first, all 3 notes, and then find them. All 3 notes, take your time, find them, all 3 notes, moving your 4 to the sharp, find them, then your 5, good. Now we're going to go down to the sharp, we have 2 and 1 here, same thing, and for this measure, we're going to go back to E minor again, and then F major again, then F sharp here, same thing, and then E minor 3 times. And then you can practice this in broken form. G major, F sharp. So the top note is still D, 3 and 4, and then G major, G, B, D again. Then we're going to move our F down to the sharp, and then to E minor, and then down to the sharp. So anytime we have this this close 2 notes, it's always a 2-1. So here we had D, F sharp, and 2 close notes, E, skip, skip, D sharp, and 2 and 1 on those 2 close notes. And then we're back to E minor, steady as we go. Then we're going to move up 1, line, line, line. This is F major chord. Then we have F sharp, and the same thing again, and then back to our home tonic chord, our resting chord of E minor. All right, so the right hand now is going to be simpler than the left, but it does have that rhythm at the beginning. So we were just playing with our hand in position of G major pentascale. Now we're going to move up, and we're going to be sort of in this D major pentascale, but we also will play a D sharp down here on the next line. So just get your hand ready with that F sharp And you can even play a little pentascale, but let's just go ahead and play the solid chord, and then change, and that holds for 3 bars, and then holds for 2 bars. We move, the left changes, and then it changes. Okay, so right there, that's the hard part. So starting in here, I'm believing you're going to need to break this down and work it slowly and in sections. So we're going to have here this 2 and this 4 on black keys, and then to E minor with E. So just try those all at once. That's not easy, but I like to make it a little bit challenging in the way that you're having to think about all the notes at once. And then when you have to play them one at a time, it's perhaps a little bit easier on your brain because you already found all of the notes. Let's go to the next bar here. We've got this F sharp, and that holds for 2 measures. So we're going to come back through here again. We're going to have, let's do them solid. Everybody, F sharp, and repeat. We can relax for a bar there. So let's do them one at a time, starting here. 1, 2, 3, 1. Now F sharp and D sharp. And we're going to hold the right hand while we play the left again. Now we're going to go up here to G. That's it. And now we're going to have our 4. Next line, we're going to have F major chord in the left. Then our next note is going to be D sharp with 4 on the left. And then we're going to finish with E minor and E on the right. All right, so that's the end of the C section. Practice whichever hand gives you trouble. Now, playing it hands together is going to be challenging because there's so many changes. The secret here is to break it down. I'll just take this example of the hardest line. Literally play it this slowly if you need to. Now I'm relaxing, but I'm looking ahead. So I see my 5 is ready to play a G. All right. So you can go that slowly, and if that's too big of a section, if you find you're getting muddled or your mind is getting messy or it's hard, or if you can't make it go faster, if you try to speed up and it's still a mess, then break it in half. Just do 3 bars. And then just do the other 3 bars, and then try to put them both together. But you have to, it's your job to decide, where is this challenging me the most? How can I break it apart and just focus on one thing at a time? Then how can I put it back together in a way that's comfortable, which usually means going slower. All right, on to the D section. So let's look at the left hand first. It's actually quite easy. We have the E minor triad, and then we have this, which is a B7. And we do that for 4 bars, and we go back to the E minor triad, and then we go back to the B7 for 4 bars, and we're back to E minor. So we just have 2 different triads, just the E minor and the B7. Back and forth between those 2. And then the right hand is only going to play the note B. B, 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 and it holds for 3 bars. B, 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 and it holds for 3 bars. B, 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 and it holds for 3 bars. B, 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 and it just holds for the 1 bar. So let's try this, going hands together. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and now we're switching left hand to that D sharp on the bottom. We'll do this for 3 measures, and then we stay on it for this next one, and then switch to E minor in the left. Finishing up line 2, and I'm changing the chords in the left. This is the 3rd one. Now my right. And then I have E minor, and then I'm going to come up to where this one just was, and this one is going to go up an octave, because you can see those 2 8VA symbols, and then I finish with this low E. So we practiced it here where it looks like it's written, but the fact is there is a 15 MA written here, and that means go down 2 octaves. I was explaining that to you in the first video. So instead of playing it here, we're going to go down 2 Bs. So that means we're going to cross over our left hand, and we're going to play the right hand lower than the left. This is going to feel very strange. So you want to practice it with your right hand above the left until it's comfortable. Otherwise, this is going to be very hard on your brain. It's a challenge. That's why you're learning piano, right? So you can have challenges. And E minor, up an octave, and down. All right, so let's just play the C section and the D section together so you can see how that fits. So we started here, we have D. Okay, I'm just right here now. I should be holding my right hand, but I wanted to point this out to you. Here I go. 2 on D sharp. This was the tricky part. Hopefully you're working on this. Now I've got naturals in both hands. And now I've got the sharp coming up in the left. And then here's the end of the C section. So I'm holding this one. Now I was here, I'm gonna cross down. And my right hand is still louder than my left, which is not too hard to do because these low notes have more resonance, so they're louder on their own. I'm on the last line, second measure, third measure. Here I go with the ending. It's E minor, E minor, E minor. And that is all 4 sections of this arrangement of the Moonlight Sonata. So keep practicing in sections. I know that these 2 videos kind of made you think it might just be 2 parts, but it's really 4 parts. You have to practice each one of them and then put them back together. You should add this piece to your 40-piece challenge, and you can add it to your repertoire list if you're going to keep it as a piece that you're playing for people or keeping in your back pocket as a regular repertoire piece. But I hope you enjoyed this Moonlight Sonata. I hope you practice it and get really comfortable with it. And I'm going to show you what's next, but I'm trying to turn the page while I play. The next thing we're going to do is learn about 16th notes, and that will take us into being able to play the Pachelbel canon. I'm missing notes here. I can't play and talk at the same time. That'll take us into being able to play the Pachelbel canon in D major, and we'll be playing a fully realized version of it here. We did learn a version of this when we played in our chord unit 5, but this next one will teach us to play it from sheet music. So practice really, really hard. I know I'm challenging you a lot with these pieces, but I know you can do it. So do your best, keep trying, and do your best. And we'll see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I hope you're keeping track of your progress on your practice sheet. If you haven't come on over to pianovideolessons.com, you should do that now so that you can get access to all of my free videos. And if you really enjoyed this lesson, I would love it if you would consider becoming a sponsor on Patreon.